sometimes there's going to be areas that we'll probably get into in this example where I may not go into it because it doesn't help my case. And you want to create the narrative that helps you. So the way that, you ready? So the way that we are going to do this is that we need your help because you're going to give some facts to David. David's going to be the police officer, and I'll work through how I put my cross together.
All right.
Okay? And then we can talk about what was good, what was bad of just doing this on the fly.
So let's start. We're gonna start with Mr. Lynch here, who is going to be driving down. We'll just say he's driving on Barber Boulevard. Close here. So I need some facts about his driving. And remember, this is going to be a DUI, or a driving under the influence of intoxicants case. So we need to have driving for it to be a DUI. So we're going to throw some things out. I'm just going to put it on the board so we can all see it. And then I will be the officer that has arrested him. And Ben will cross on the fly. And then we will critique Ben a little bit. Okay? So who's got some driving info? Yes, thank you.
Speeding.
Speeding. All right. Speeding. Great. What else?
Heinous act.
Heinous. That's right, ma'am.
That's good. You guys can leave it at that. I'm feeling confident.
Okay, so it's like speeding and then hitting brakes. So his speed
Like
is like kind of
inconsistent.
erratic, right? All right. Yes.
He's also intoxicated.
Well, remember that's what we're fighting over
Yeah.
here. So let's just keep it in our driving.
The officer will give an opinion of that. It's just what supports
Yeah.
it that we're going to go into.
Sir.
He's on the wrong side of the road.
Okay, so we'll just say he swerves into the wrong lane.
Wrong side of the road.
You're right. Wrong side of road. Great. Okay. All right. And so then when I pull Mr. Lynch over, tell me what I see.
His speech is slurred.
Slurred speech. Okay. Let's get some others around. Yeah.
The smell of alcohol.
Okay, we got an odor. Okay, how about another? Yes. Okay, he's got mood swings. How about that? He's moody / swings. This is good. All right. We'll also make it late at night. We'll make it around 2:15, which is like prime fishing time for police, right? We can't make it too easy for them. Okay, I'm going to go through the walk and turn, and we're going to give some clues. The walk and turn is, the police will say 2 out of the possible 8 clues will constitute signs of impairment that they're looking for, okay? So the first part is that he has to be in an instruction position. Is there anyone that thinks maybe he steps out of the instruction position? Sure, all right, good, all right. So steps off. Instruction, okay. The next one could be that he starts too early. That's another clue that they're looking for, okay? You see that all the time. All right, and then how about when he's taking his series of 9 heel-to-toe steps down? And heel-to-toe means that they had to be heel-to-toe with, they can't have a gap in between as far as their stepping. So he's taken 9 down, right, but let's, do we have an example? How many steps do we want him to take?
12.
We're going to have him take 12, okay, 12 steps. Okay, and another one is...
Hold on, 12 out and 12 back, or
we'll
12
just have
out
12
and 9
out,
back?
and we'll say 9 back. We'll give you 9 back. Okay. All right, and how about his arms? His arms. Okay, so we'll have his raises his arms up. Okay. Okay. He's also supposed to do a turn, which is like a series of small steps. So should we have him do this? Is like what you see on every turn that anyone does. Of like how they turn like this, rather than what police want you to do is like a series of small steps around like that. Yes. So we'll have him do like kind of a twirl. All right. And should we have him step off? Should we have him step off line on the way back? Yeah. Okay, we'll have him step off the line twice. How about that? And should we say it's an imaginary line? That's usually what they use. They say imagine a line, and then they'll say, all right, so we'll say steps off twice. Okay, so if you have 2 of the clues, they're not supposed to say constitutes a failure, but that's what they are taught to look for, is at least 2 out of 8 clues, okay? And for the one-leg stand, there are 4 clues that they're looking at. Somebody has to raise their foot. They're counting to 30, okay? And so should we have that he puts his foot down? Yeah, should we say like right away, like maybe 2? Yeah. Yeah, okay, and then maybe again at 5. So foot down, 2 and 5. All right, the next thing that they're looking for is if there is a sway. Okay, we'll probably give them a sway as well. And should we give them one more, which is, what else do you want? What's that? You want a hop? Well, we'll just put 2 that he has to take a hop. That's another thing that they like look for on it, okay? All right, so we'll give them 3 out of the possible 4. Okay, do you need a second, or are you good where you want to go?
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
All right, all right. We can't make it too easy. Oh, go ahead.
All right. It was dark,
Yes,
late,
yes,
the road was wet.
it was.
You followed Mr. Lynch for about a mile.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't looking at my speedometer, but probably, it was probably a mile.
You turned on your overhead lights to pull him over, correct?
Yes.
And he responded in an appropriate amount of time.
Well, I mean, I turned on my overhead lights and, and then he pulled over.
And there's no delayed response.
No, he pulled over.
He chose a safe place to pull over,
Yeah.
and he parked properly.
Yeah, he parked properly.
And those are all things that you're trained to look for, because somebody who's had too much to drink may have a delayed response.
Yes.
And when you started speaking with him, he didn't have any delayed response in answering your questions.
No.
He was appropriate in all of his answers.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was moody. He was not nice at all.
You've never met him before, correct?
No.
And none of this is on audio or video recording.
No, our department doesn't do that.
And you asked for his license, registration, insurance.
Yes.
He didn't have any hand-eye coordination, finger dexterity problems, or difficulty with little muscles in handing you those documents.
I didn't see.
Well, part of the thing that you're looking for, especially for officer safety, is you're watching somebody's hands, correct?
Yes.
And on a DUI case, one of the things that you're looking for as an indicator of impairment is hand-eye coordination problems,
Yes.
finger dexterity problems.
Yeah, I guess I didn't understand the question. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Okay. Not only did he not have any hand-eye coordination problems, finger dexterity problems, or difficulty with little muscles or fine motor skills, but he also produced all 3 documents to you.
He did.
And that's another thing that you're looking for, to see if he gives you the correct documents and if he remembers all 3 of them.
Yeah, I mean, he complained while he was doing it.
When you asked him out of the vehicle to
Yep.
perform field sobriety tests, he didn't have any apprehension.
He got up.
Without apprehension.
No apprehension.
Okay. And so he exited from the car, and you have any balance problems from the seated position to the standing position?
No, I wasn't really watching, but I don't think so.
Well, when somebody leaves their vehicle, again, it's a safety situation, so you should be watching for safety, but also because you're looking to see somebody's balance, right? If somebody's had too much to drink, maybe they're going to stumble getting out of their vehicle.
I don't recall if he was or wasn't.
When he walked around his car, he didn't put his hand on his car for support.
No.
Another thing, just one of the things in the mini list of things that you're looking for, correct?
Yeah.
In his normal walk, there's no stagger, no stumble, no sway.
Yeah, when we walked over for the field sobriety test.
Okay, and he agreed to perform the field sobriety test. First, he did the horizontal gaze nystagmus.
Yes.
He kept his hands at his side and feet together.
Yes.
He didn't have any balance problems during that test.
Not that I noted.
He never raised his arms during that test.
No.
He followed the stimulus with your eyes, with
Yes.
his eyes, I mean.
With his eyes.
Okay, and so then you asked him to do the walk and turn on an imaginary line.
Right.
And in performing that test, 19 of the 21 steps were all heel to toe,
Yes.
and 21 of the 21 steps were all, 19 of the 21 were on the line,
On the line, right.
and 21 of the 21 were heel to toe.
Heel toe was done correctly.
So after he took the 12 step on the way out, he spun like this and didn't lose his balance, correct?
Yes.
Again,
It's not as I instructed.
did he lose his balance on his turn?
No.
When he was doing the one leg stand, you asked him to count out loud.
Yes.
Okay, he counted in sequence.
Yeah.
He didn't have any difficulty with that, no missed numbers.
He seemed upset, but that was it.
Okay. He raised his foot after 6, right? Up until 30.
On the one leg stand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And at the 30-second mark, you told him to put his foot down.
Well, yeah, the test was done.
Okay. So he kept it up from 6 to 30, and then you told him to stop from your choice.
Yes.
And your entire time with him, you didn't notice any flush to his face.
No.
You didn't notice any glassiness to his eyes or bloodshotness to his eyes.
No.
You didn't take any pictures.
We don't typically do that.
You have a camera, right?
Yep.
Okay, you didn't do any audio and you didn't do any video recording.
It's just not something we do. Okay. So, a couple of things. One, these topics here, he had more topics than what we went through, right? And so, first, he broke down, so he was looking at driving under the influence of intoxicants. So is your mental or your physical faculties negatively or adversely affected by alcohol to a noticeable or perceptible degree? Now that is a long, horrific legal version of what under the influence is. Okay.
And oftentimes when you're speaking to a jury on a DUI case, you're giving them that definition, essentially, but you're allowed to explain to the jury what that means.
Right.
So when you're looking at somebody's adverse effects on their mental faculties, their ability to think, act, react, physical, hand-eye coordination, finger dexterity, balance, right? You're isolating things if they're helpful for you and incorporating it in the definition.
So when he looked at, okay, driving, we had a lot of things. We had speeding, hitting the brakes over, again, being erratic, swerving on the wrong side of the road for it. How much cross did he do on that? None. None. What did he focus on, right? Maybe his guy is going to testify and he has phone records saying like he was lost, he was on his phone, he was, doing all these things. What did he focus on? He focused on when the overhead lights came on, mentally, did he realize that there was a police officer right behind him? Physically and mentally, did he park in an appropriate, like pull over appropriately in an appropriate amount of time? And then physically, did he pull over and park appropriately? So he's balancing in, okay, there may have been a lot of bad here, but then if somebody has so many bad things over here, then why is it that mental and physically he did so many things right? And he builds that narrative by what? The speed of his questions, right? And moving through. And then what I'm talking about is all argument, okay? He's really trying to use different methods. Sometimes he said things like dark, wet, or I don't even remember if there was a full question in there. But he's just trying to get kind of the pace moving. And sometimes when I would throw some curveballs in of like, I don't recall, or I don't this, or I don't that, then he'd kind of latch in to say, oh, you're trained for this. You're supposed to have this. This is part of your job. It's a safety issue. It's a whatever else, right? Because he's trying to convey it wasn't there. Okay, and that's where he comes through with the no video, no photos, whatever else. He put in here, out of when it was driving, he added in the lights, parking, right? Mental and physical as a topic. Okay? It wasn't in the police report. It wasn't what we talked about, but it became a focus because this is how he wanted to push his narrative on his case. Then when we went into the signs, he wanted to look at, okay, there were all these signs of what we had, right? He doesn't care that the person was maybe a jerk. That kind of fits in for why he's not explaining what's going on. Some people, it's not illegal to be mean. I mean, we shouldn't be, right? You would hope not. I happen to know Mr. Lynch, he's a nice guy, but he doesn't care that there's an odor, okay?
Why do I not care if there's an odor? Okay, so Oregon law, it's legal to consume alcohol and then drive a car. What's illegal is too much. Essentially, if your mental or physical faculties are adversely affected, or if you have a blood alcohol level of 0.08 or greater, if we're talking about alcohol cases. So with odor of alcohol, you're allowed, it's a byproduct. It's not an adverse effect. So I don't really care that there's an odor of alcohol. That's not going to be what the case is about. So it doesn't hurt me, doesn't necessarily help me, but there's no reason to waste questions about it.
So you can care about that.
So I don't care if it's
right?
a strong odor or a moderate odor, it's the same.
It's not a defense that his client didn't have anything to drink. Or I imagine we would have heard a big deal about that, right? It's not a no driving defense, okay? That's another avenue to go. He's not bringing anything in about, it's not whether it's the wrong person or whether he's a twin or something like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Would it be the same strategy, like if that was like the prosecutor's main point, like they were really harping on the odor, would you still not touch it then?
Yeah, because you have really good jury instructions on it. So I would go through what the definition of driving under the influence is. So jurors, what you want to do in your jury selection, I know this isn't the time to talk about jury selection, but essentially you set this up by jury selection by being impartial and being their guide. So then when you're walking through to closing, to say, yeah, here's what the Oregon law says. There's a jury instruction that says it is not illegal to consume alcohol and then drive a car under Oregon law. And I just say, if I had a beer, with dinner, you all would smell it. That doesn't mean somebody's under the influence. It's a byproduct. It's not an adverse effect. So the question is, are these adverse effects beyond a reasonable doubt? And then we look at all the things that he did well, and then we look at all the things that maybe we just explain away by saying, he's nervous, he's anxious, he's on the side of the road, it's wet, it's dark, it's late, right? You want to get quick, short. The shorter and the more, visual or sensory you can get with it, the better, because when I say dark, you all have an image of what that road is like and wet. I mean, that wasn't in the fact pattern, but I figured we're just going to see if he goes along with it. I didn't know if he'd say yes or no. Ideally, you'd want to know those things in advance.
Here, he did in between the signs, which didn't really bother him because he was able to do things like the 3 documents, right? What he's looking for mentally, did he remember all 3 documents? A lot of people screw that up. Physically, the little muscles, the little fingers, right? I tried to give him a little bit of I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about there, but there was no fumbling of documents, right? You didn't have any issues with that. That's a physical test, okay? The going from the seated position to the standing position to walking over to where the field tests were with no stumble, stagger, sway. He fit all of those words in as he was going through. So what he does is another topic here, which is like almost the pre-test portion, where he put all of those things.
So the ways that you can control a witness on somebody, like if they're going to push on you, if your questions are short and they have to give answers to it, they're going to give you less problems to try and wiggle around. And that's why the pace is really important. And that's why your tone is important too, because if you ask a question in a way like, well, aren't you supposed to look for that? I'm giving him the kind of control and the suggestion where he can say like, oh, well, I should, but I'm also looking at 15 other things or something like that. You don't want to give him the opportunity to say that, so you have to ask it confidently, and then you're there with essentially a point of authority, because of course they're supposed to look for it, right? And they're probably not going to wiggle on stuff if you ask it in a way where it assumes that you know the answer.
And then the last phase of this is, so we had all of these issues in the field tests, right? This is his counter to it. When he didn't know he was being tested, he had no balance issues, no mental issues whatsoever. And so you're looking at when, that's where Ben was saying the nerves come in, that when you know you're being tested, are you performing at your best? Okay? And so through cross-examination, he's taken a lot of these bad things in here. He's putting his narrative into it, where it can kind of open your eyes to it. But then he saves a ton of argument for closing, so it's preserved the right way.
Because the officer is not, if I want to get into a debate about if there was slurred speech or not, he's just going to say that there was slurred speech. But So I'm just going to get in on, you've never met him before, he was responsive to your questions. I don't think I asked, you understood everything you had to say. I mean, it's tough sometimes doing it quite on the fly. We do put a little bit more time in planning this stuff on real trials. But essentially, you can get this much just by, if you think about, well, where are we going with these things? Well, what are the likely answers they're going to do? And you have to brainstorm about that. And really, a lot of it's sort of redlining. Not going to ask that. Not going to give him the open-ended question to answer. Okay? You pretty much never need to do an open-ended question ever on cross. And sometimes people will say, oh, well, he's testifying. You're damn right. That's what cross-examination is. I'm making him say my narrative.